I think it was worse than what I even expected.
It is. It's worse than what I even expected. I mean, obviously, we had some hints of how bad this was going to be because congressional members that had viewed the memo had come out and told us, had talked about it publicly, but really pushed and fought alongside Chairman Nunes to get this memo public and get it without any redactions. And I'm so grateful for that because now that we look at it as Americans, we can see that the complaints that the DOJ and that the FBI first had, that this was going to somehow impede on our national security and reveal the processes by which we obtain these type of warrants, was a complete and utter lie, Sean. And what we also know now is that this investigation into President Trump was built upon, as we had suspected, as we had been told over and over again, on a shoddy dossier put together by somebody who apparently did not want to see President Trump as President of the United States, a foreign intelligence person, by the way, Christopher Steele, who was working and gathering information on behalf of Russians and being paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. I think this is stunning how it was weaponized. We had used earlier on, I remember last year, talking over and over again, we talked about the weaponization of our FISA courts, about the weaponization of our intelligence community. And I think what we're seeing here was the weaponization of that. And it's so unfortunate, but so grateful that we live in a nation that we can expose this.
It took a long time. It really did. And, yeah, I think Devin Nunes, who's taken a lot of unfair abuse over this, do the American people want to know that this happened? This goes to this goes to the heart of our electoral system. This goes to the heart of our constitutional republic. This goes to the heart of unreasonable search and seizure. Dan Bongino.
Yeah, Sean, it's clear as day after reading the memo now that the FBI, the Department of Justice, were hijacked by a political campaign for president. I mean, there's no way to read that. And Sean, here's another thing. I'm already seeing some Democrats spin on this, which was interesting. A couple days ago, they wanted this thing suppressed at all costs, and now they're trying to say, oh, the FISA thing is no big deal. So you can't have it both ways. But what's critical here to remember is, Sean, this stuff happened or exists. We can have a respectful political disagreement about the effect of tax cuts. You can't have a disagreement about the existence of a FISA warrant and the application sworn to and the paper trail in it. Either the dossier was used, as Andy McCabe attested to, or it wasn't. I mean, these facts are absolutely devastating. There's no amount of spin in the world that's going to make this go away. The DOJ and the FBI were hijacked by the Clinton campaign.
Buck Sexton, what's your take on it?
Totally agree with Dan, and have to say thank you to Sarah for all the work she's been doing, despite all of the MSM naysayers out there. Sarah's been putting story after story out. It's a day of reckoning. Look, the previous denunciations of this memo, we should just go back and look at everything that was said by anyone at DOJ, FBI, and honestly in the media too, although they hadn't read the memo necessarily ahead of this. That was just the most dishonest and disingenuous smear campaign. It was complete and utter crap. Reading this memo today, there's nothing in it that jeopardizes national security, and that anybody at all, Sean, would think that the American people should not know what is in this memo is laughable, except it's also deadly serious at the same time. I mean, it is a preposterous position. I cannot believe that anyone will be showing their face on TV later thinking that somehow that's a defensible position. We had to know this stuff.
The FISA court never would have approved spying on the Trump team without the FBI's bogus Trump dossier. And I tell you, one of the more deceptive things that they did here, number one, they never let the court know where this came from. Now, that in and of itself is an omission in a way to lie to a court. Number two, this phony, they knew that Steele had leaked to Michael Isikoff. All right, so Michael Isikoff basically is saying the exact same thing, coming from the exact same source, and they're trying to present it and mislead the court into thinking they've got corroboration of what is the same exact thing. Now, I've got to imagine that a FISA court can bring these people in and hold them in contempt at any point. Sara Carter.
Yes, they can. I mean, what they did was they piggybacked off the same information, withheld that from the FISA court, did not even inform the FISA court that Christopher Steele had already told Bruce Orr, who was at the DOJ, who's been demoted twice since all of this was discovered, and whose wife worked for Fusion GPS, did not even disclose to the court that Christopher Steele himself was on a mission to not get President Trump elected. I mean, this is incredible. The FISA court would have laughed them out of the courts had they disclosed this information. Another thing, the fact that they were able to push this through the FISA court based on, one, an unverified dossier and actually lying to the FISA court, because that's the way that I see it, allowed them to create a disinformation campaign to the public. got there, once they were able to start collecting communications on members of President Trump's campaign, they were then able to start leaking. And they could leak information to the press and then create this big Russia collusion narrative that everybody was going to be buying into.
Remember Glenn Simpson's testimony before House Intel? Remember, he was trying to coordinate with the Clinton campaign to leak dossier information to the media that they wanted out. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so there was complicity there. Yeah, all right, stay right there. We'll take a break. More with Sara Carter, more with Dan Bongino, Buck Sexton.